set up. So they were out there probably, you know, an hour before we even got there.
It's a lifestyle.
Oh, it definitely is.
It's a lifestyle. Come on,
It definitely is a lifestyle.
Good morning. Time now, 10 o'clock. This is your WNDU, we'll call it the weather show. And this is not Jack, this is not Alyssa, this is not Andrew, this is Tyler. Tyler actually ice fishes. Ice.
I ice fish, yes.
You go out on the ice, you take the auger, a little bitty hole, you throw some bait down there and hope you can catch a fish, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a professional ice fisherman by any means, but it's definitely something I enjoy to do. You know, when the ice is safe enough to go.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, and back behind you here, so this is the ice shelf. This is a little different. When we're talking ice fishing, we're talking about lakes, we're talking about ponds. You want to stay off the ice shelf for two very big reasons. One, obviously you don't want to fall through. You fall through and it is going to be just a very bad situation. The second is ice is slippery. And you've been on the ice shelf before, at least you've observed it, right?
I've never been on the ice shelf. No, don't go on it.
Good, don't go on it.
I have observed it.
Yeah,
so.
And there's no smooth ice on the ice shelf. You slip and fall on the ice shelf, and again, you might go through, but you also might get severely injured. We'll have a story on that actually coming up at noon about somebody who slipped on the ice. But back to what's important. So temperatures right now are at 23 degrees, and you're talking last week. So the reason I bring you on here, last week you said you were asking about the weather, the temperature forecast, because you wanted the ice to be safe enough to go ice fishing, and you went this past weekend?
Yeah, I went on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, so yesterday morning.
It wasn't like you just kind of waltzed out there in the afternoon. You lined things up. In the morning, you were out there. What temperature was it?
Well, when I left my house, so I left my house about 7:30 in the morning, and it said -2. -2. So I was definitely bundled up for sure. But then we went down to Bremen, went to Lake of the Woods.
Okay.
We got down there about 8:15, I would say. And when I looked, it said it was around 1 degree, maybe 2 degrees.
Yeah. And what is your thought process when you're going to the lake? Mm-hmm. You know you need to know it's safe enough to go out on. What are the things that you look for?
Well, luckily for us, by the time we got out there was already about 20 people out there.
Insane.
So we knew the ice was most likely safe enough for us to be out there, since there were already people out there, you know, in their shanties and stuff like that. But generally, you know, we'll make sure there's no like large visible cracks or anything. You know, make sure there's no standing water on top. And if there is, like, still have to check the depth of the ice and see how thick it is. We cut our hole and we checked the thickness of the ice. It came in around 8 to 9 inch somewhere.
Usually 4 is the safe zone, but you don't know until you cut into it just exactly how thick it is.
Yeah. After that, I mean, we were good to go. We weren't fancy enough to have shanties, so we kind of just bared the cold. But honestly, the sun was out, so with the sun beaming down on us the whole time, it didn't feel as cold as what it was, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
And ice fishing, so I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and my dad would offer the chance to go ice fishing. And I'll say early on, there wasn't really an offer. You had to go. Like, you had to go ice fishing. And I never understood, again, this is just me, I never understood the decision to go ice fishing. Because did you catch anything?
I did, actually. I caught 2 little bluegill. Nothing crazy. But it sounded like a lot of the people out there weren't really catching much.
Yeah.
So at least I didn't get skunked, so that's good.
Right.
Even if I did, I mean, still being out there is always fun.
Yeah. So tell me what you enjoy about it. I mean, you're waking up before the sun comes up. You're out there. Some people have shanties, which means they're committed to being out there long term to stay warm. A shanty, of course, being just the shelter that you got the hole in there. You can stay warm while also ice fishing. But are you going for a big fish, or are you going for just the experience of being out on a frozen lake?
I would say it's more of the experience of being out on the frozen lake. I mean, if you do catch a big fish, that's nice. That's always a bonus.
Yep.
But even if I don't catch anything, like, it's still fun just being out there. You know, you get to be out in the elements, get to relax, you just take in the scene.
Yeah.
You know, not every day you could go out there and be like, oh, look, I'm standing in the middle of a lake. So.
Right. You're going back the last couple of years. I know you were concerned because you do this every year.
I try to. If it gets cold enough to where the ice is thick enough, then I try to go. Last year I didn't get a chance because it never got cold enough, long enough for the ice to be thick.
Yep.
At least thick enough where I felt safe to go out there. I know some people, they make that bad decision, but I try to go out there when I feel like it's safe enough.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Tyler, is that he's found something he enjoys with the cold weather. So I know we can get caught up in complaining about how cold it is, how long this winter has been going, but for you to find joy in the cold makes it a little bit easier to get through these winter months. So.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's giving me something to look forward to. You know, a lot of people, they're, you know, stuck in the house, depressed, you know, feeling kind of down because can't go out and do much.
Right.
I'm just like, for me, when the weather had that long cold streak, I was like, oh, now I have something to look forward to of, you know, going out, going ice fishing. I went with my brother-in-law and both my brother-in-laws, and, you know, we hung out and, you know.
Caught 2 bluegill.
I caught 2, and then they both caught 1. So.
Okay, be honest with me. Were they bait fish? Is it one of those that you can
they definitely were not keepers. Not at all. They were probably, I think the biggest one was probably like that.
See?
So.
And that's one thing my dad used to always say. It was never about the fish. It was about the people that you're doing it with. That is the community, and that's what brings you joy. So, well, thank you for that perspective, Tyler.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I think, do we have to take a break? We do? All right. We'll take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll look at the forecast a little bit more. Stay with us. Anyways, thanks, Tyler. Be good, man. All right. So that's the thing, is if I don't know, try to find Tyler who does know when it comes to ice fishing. It was really interesting during the short minute, you know, we were just talking about. It's not like they go out there with a ruler to measure the ice thickness. It's just they know how long objects are. So he was talking about the ladle. Knowing that the ladle is about 6 or 7 inches, when they go out there, they know if they can get the ladle all the way down without feeling any open water or the thickness of the ice, they know how thick the ice is. So again, all these just little things. Farmers are notorious for looking at different clouds and knowing what kind of weather is going to come. Same thing when it comes to ice fishing. So great perspective. And for somebody that gave up ice fishing about 20 years ago, I always like to kind of talk to people that do it. It gives not only a new perspective, but gives you a little bit better information. Speaking of things going on across the area. So Groundhog Day is today, February 2nd. If you haven't heard, he did see his shadow. His shadow was observed, so that means 6 more weeks of winter. We've already had, I would say, maybe 3 or 4 years of winter in the span of just a few months when we got that snow starting. We got it in November, early November. It was one of my son's birthday. In and around that time. So that's kind of like, oh yeah, in early November, we had over a foot of snowfall, and then we also had late November, and it just seems like we've had these events that kept that winter around. So according to Puxton Phil, you're looking at 6 more weeks of winter. Officially, what I'm looking at, what we're looking at here in the First Alert Weather Center is at least through February, I don't expect us to really surge into the 40s. We may get 1 or 2 days between now and the end of the month where we hit a high of 41 or high of 42. But based on what I'm seeing in the long term, we get through the middle of the month, so in the next couple of weeks, at or below average, and then the second half is looking around average. And just to kind of give you some sense, what does average mean? I guess we'll do the 10-day forecast. I can pull that one up there. What does average mean? Well, the good news is this number is now 32. It was 31. Back in January, there's about a week or 10 days that on average is the coldest stretch for the entire year. So we're done with that, which means this number going forward will gradually warm up. And that means that we're starting to kind of turn turn the tide on winter in general. It does not mean that the forecast will match that. It just means that the odds are in the past, we start to warm up through the month of February. And I'm not talking 10, 15 degrees, maybe 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree. Bottom line is this number isn't as cold as what it was 3 weeks ago, and that is a positive trend. And when you're in the middle of winter, when it's cloudy, when it's cold, if you're not ice fishing, you look for every little positive to throw in the pocket to get you through not only that day the next week, but also the season. So again, here's a look at the 10-day forecast. You got 27 degrees for Groundhog Day, 27 degrees on Tuesday, about a 20% chance of rain. I should say snow, and that's mainly for the morning hours. Down to 0 on Wednesday and Thursday, but that sun is going to be out. Tyler was talking about it, and over in the newsroom, there was a lot of people talking about it, that it was cold. We were 10 below 0 Sunday morning, but once that sun came up with the clear skies, it really started to refreshen the mood in and across Michiana with the bright sunshine, and that carried through the day, even though temperatures were below average for this time of year. A repeat of that is what I'm thinking for our Wednesday and for our Thursday. Remember last week we were first alerting you to kind of this stretch, that if we're going to make it to 30 or 32 degrees, it was going to be this Thursday to Friday. It's not going to last all that long. We got another system coming in, 60% of chance of snow Friday night and into Saturday morning, overnight low about 8 degrees. But at least we'll get a few days around freezing, and then at least a few days with some sunshine. Otherwise, watching next weekend, next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 27 to about 30 degrees. And really, unlike last week or the week before, there's nothing major systems that we're keeping an eye on the First Alert Weather Center. But what we are doing is we're adjusting that forecast based on the dry air. And one thing you're going to see, and I figured I'd take 30 more seconds and talk about this. One thing you're going to see going forward, remember how I was talking about this average high starts to go up? We start to see the high and the low diverge. So you get a bigger number here and a lower number there. What that is suggesting is more dry air around. So while we have to go through a cold morning, that sun and the sun angle as we get deeper into the month really helps that afternoon high push away. If it's a very humid environment, or if we're talking about a lot of cloud cover, these two numbers, this one and this one, are really close together. And that gives you an idea that we're not going to be warming up all that much. We're not going to be falling off the cliff either when it comes to the cold temperatures. But with dry air in place, and that's what we're going to have Tuesday into Wednesday, not only does this number go down, but with the sunshine, especially this time of year, and as we go through the rest of the month, this number starts to go up. So you get a big spread between your morning lows and your afternoon highs. If we're looking for warmer weather, that's kind of what we want to see. Because then come March and April, we start to introduce the moisture, the humidity, and that is what kicks up our overnight lows. So those start to come up with our highs, and we get more into rainy season rather than frozen precipitation season, which is where we are right now. Time out about 10:13, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up, and then I'll join you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Who knows? Maybe we'll have somebody else come on mid-conversation. Otherwise, take care and have a great day.